Hi guys. Alright, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. So, alright, I am trying my best to get the lesson numbers in the descriptions. If you have the book, it's very easy. So if you do have the book, you can go back yourself and you can find them, because I'm not going to go through and change all the titles to everything. So, it's very simple. It's a very, very easy format. So, alright, let's part 6, lesson 4, which they are labeled. So, alright, this is for egotism. So, egotism, we all have it to a greater or lesser degree. Many people react negatively to hearing this and insist that they are not egotistical. Well, if you don't have a strong ego, something is wrong with you. We all need strong egos, strong senses of self to survive and grow. So yes, we do need it to an extent, but it gets in the way. So what we need to do is isolate different aspects of ego from one another and eliminate those aspects we no longer desire. So the positive aspects of our egos, which tell us I'm great at some things and other people are great at various things too, should be encouraged and built upon. So that's the positive side of the ego. So the aspect which says to us, I'm great and everybody else is wrong, needs to be overcome. So that's narcissism. So I've gone through periods of the latter, luckily, as he says. I've had techniques and teachers which allowed me and still allow me to overcome the problem of negative egotism when I became aware of it. So you have to become aware of it. So it's unfortunate but true that people who teach metaphysical topics can end up being led to believe in their own non-existent greatness as the result of the adulation of students. So we see that a lot. That's very, 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 very prominent within the occult world, the metaphysical world, the world of witchcraft, all of it. So, one of the reasons that I suggest you read at least one other book on the topic, or on the topics of these lessons while you are studying this course, is so that you will get other opinions and ideas, some of which may contradict the ideas presented here. So you just have to use your better judgment. So in Eastern mystical traditions, the physical phenomenal world is considered an illusion, Maya, which hides the true spiritual reality behind the phenomenal world, that is truly, totally what I believe. I don't know about everybody else, but that's what I think. So our higher self can know the true universe, but it is cut off by our dominant egos, which only see the illusion. Thus our egos slay the true inner reality. So we are told to achieve enlightenment. We must slay the slayer, get rid of our egos, and see the inner reality. So that's hard. It's very hard. I mean, it's just a basic component of human physiological, psychological stuff. Alright, now Crowley wrote about this frequently, yet, although he claimed to have succeeded, it is very questionable as to whether he really freed himself from his ego. It's too hard. It's really hard. He was a very advanced, very good magician, which I don't think he ever did, honestly. So, according to Israel Regardie, in the West, our goal is to not rid ourselves of our egos, but to perfect our egos so that they are in harmony with our higher selves. I doubt if a large percentage of Western mystics have achieved that state. So that's pretty interesting. I like that idea a lot better. I feel fuzzy. Maybe that worked. There we go. Alright, so what both Crowley and Regardie seem to imply is a very mechanicistic, whatever, mind. Very mechanical mind. So that is, they seem to see the amount of ego reaching a certain level, by which following certain instructions can be raised or lowered. So he says, I don't agree. The mind seems to be far more flowing and changeable than their mechanics, I can't say that word. Mechanicistic version. So we can quickly or gradually change from large to small amounts of negative egotism, depending on such things as the weather, our health, our physical environment. It's a big one. And perhaps our astrological influences. So environment and astrological influences is, for me, the biggest. So, what do you guys think? So what we need to do to have our devices aid us by first allowing us to sense that a problem exists. So an example, an increase in negative egotism. I see it all the time. And then give us some ways to deal with it. So you might be asking yourself, why am I giving you this information now? It's because I want to tell you some more about the pitfalls of leading a group. And he says, my worst failure as a teacher. So several years ago, he says, I had a student who I believed had more potential as a magician than anyone I have met before or since. I tried to plead him into becoming a good magician, well grounded in occult philosophy. Unfortunately, due to differences of opinion between myself and this student, they ended up going their separate ways. So it's very common. So one of the reasons for this is that he did not like the way I did some of my private tutoring. So as he says, I have discussed earlier, I prefer the psoriatic method of teaching. So I read somewhere a simple explanation of it. So, tell me, and I'll forget. Show me, and I might remember. Involve me, and I'll understand. Very interesting. Very interesting. So when the student asked me a question, I would answer in a way designed to lead him to a deeper understanding of the implications of the question, and not just give a simple yes or no. So he did not like the idea of having to think about the answers. He wanted a yes or no, like that. So answer to complex questions, so he refused to give him that, which he really wanted, magical power with no personal work. Not gonna happen. Never happens. Ever. So about a year after, he says, he had stopped being his student, and he was asked by an international occult order to start a chapter of that order in the city where he then lived. So he says, I knew several people who would be interested and who might make good members, including this former student. So naturally, on the day before I had planned to call him, I accidentally ran into him and told him about it. In a short time, he and I and some others were working together. But he says, I soon realized that previous commitments would not allow me the time to lead the group because he had more talent, more Latin magical talent and charisma than other members of the group. So he says, I chose him to be my successor. Alright, this person is very intelligent. He has worked as a secretary for many years, and because of it has two problems. First, since many secretaries do what they are told, and allow their bosses to have the responsibility for their success or errors, he has the attitude that magically he can do whatever he wants. And if he errs, he can always do it over, or use some sort of magical whiteout. So, I wish that was true. So this is a very dangerous attitude to have when doing practical magic of the sort he is doing, and both he and one of his close assistants have told me of the times when he had summoned up something and not been able to banish it. Had he been more advanced, the manifestation could have been more physical. The result could have been life-threatening. So, that's very creepy. It's kind of scary, too. Secondly, as a secretary, he does what he is told, and thus has a feeling of impotence and a lack of power. I did not realize this at the time. I turned the organization over to him. It was a big error. So, alright, rather than allowing him to develop more quickly, as I had hoped it would do, the power of being the local head of a group gave him a feeling that he could do anything and get away with anything. So, we all know where this leads. He began to lie and break his oaths left and right. He tried to give away some of the secrets of the organization he was a member of in order that he might learn the inner secrets of other organizations. Finally, although remaining a member of the organization, he decided that this order was not spiritual at all. I don't like that. So he became de facto a member of a well-known, very authoritarian, pseudo-Hindu order. So since this so-called order tells its devotees when to get up, when to go to sleep, what to read, what to think, when to bathe, when to wear, what to wear, when to have sex, and when to eat, etc. Ooh, no thank you. It seemed to me that this organization would be perfect for this person who is so used to taking orders anyway. Okay, now that's understandable. However, he insisted on claiming to teach people from the methods of the organization to which I had introduced him. So from what I have seen, he had been subtly twisting the teachings and using politics to try to get himself into the total leadership position of the group. So he also tried to make the pseudo-Hindu order a group accused of brainwashing and mind control by many authorities, so look very positive to his followers and make several of its followers into members of the group. Fortunately for the occult order, his attempt failed, which is very good. So, although the branch, which he says I started with about 10 people now, has only 2 active members, and it's about to fold, unfortunately, for the leader, it has been alleged to me that his failure had led him to drug addiction and prostitution. Stuff can go very bad, and that's very true. So, one of the little-known facts of teaching is that a teacher must accept the karma of what he or she teaches. Yes, that's very true. So, if a teacher's students use the teachings wisely, it benefits the teacher's karma, oh God. If they use the teachings to do negative things, it hurts the teacher's karma. Okay, so in this case, I have to accept some of this person's karma for his using the things I taught him in a negative way, and because he is messing up some of his students. I also have to accept some of their karma as well. Wow. So, needless to say, there are things I am doing magically to end this karmic link. I find, however, that I am continually drawn to stay near to him, so that when he fails, as he invariably does, I am around to pick up the pieces of both him and his students, should they want to help. Wow, that would be a big responsibility that I would not want to take on. A big responsibility. So the reason I have gone through this story is to show you some of the problems caused by egotism when forming or being a member of a magical group. That's why I stay private, or solitary. So the egotism of S.L. Mathers, one time undisputed leader of the Golden Dawn, helped cause the breakup of that organization. So Crowley's egotism caused his OTO and AA to shrink in numbers until they were very small by the time of his death. So there are far more people who study and idolize Crowley today than there ever were during his lifetime. So, egotism and power hunger have broken up more magical groups, covens, etc. than any other single cause. So how do we avoid the problem of negative egotism in ourselves and others? I'd like to know. So first we must acknowledge that if it is not on the surface, it is lurking just underneath the surface. Second, we must have to learn how to recognize it. A simple way to do this is to look at attitudes. The negative egotistical attitude is presented in the book Sick Consciousness, the topmost yoga system by the late founder of the Hare Krishnas. So in it, page 40, he says, give up research, throw it away, just become submissive. Listen to only authorized sources. Of course, the authorized sources you should listen to, and the organization you should be submissive to, in this case, is the Hare Krishnas. So, on the other hand, look at the note at the beginning of Crowley's book 4. Others have said, believe me. He, Crowley, says, don't believe me. He wants an independent and self-reliant body of students to follow out their own methods of research. If he can save them time and trouble by giving them a few useful tips, his work will have been done to his own satisfaction. So it is with this last viewpoint that I heartily concur. So if you are the head of a group and you find yourself thinking that you have all the answers, and any other way is wrong, it is time to get to work on yourself. Also, if you find yourself thinking you know all there is to know about the Kabbalah and magic and occultism, it is time to work on yourself. Alright. And I know a lot of people like this. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm looking at my hair. Alright, so, where'd I go? So for most of us, our sense of self, or our ego, is based on the link between consciousness and body. Even those of us who spend many hours in astral projection think of me as being mind-body, superior or inferior, cannot have or do anything other than exist and seek unity with the divine. But when mind-body are thought of as one, it can have possessions, can be physically, mentally superior or inferior to other mind-body units. Interesting. So thus, the key to overcoming negative egotism is to realize and accept, not merely understand, that the mind is not the body. The mind is the true self, and the body is just a servant for that true self when living in the physical universe. So the following are gentle versions of techniques, some of which are given by Crowley in his books, which help you in this end of war. So, number 1. Pretty good too. Alright, so number 1. Where am I at? Okay. Sit in a chair, back straight, knees together, feet flat on the floor. Your hands should be palms down on your thighs, with the thumbs just touching. Now, just hold this position. In a short time, your body will start to tremble and your legs will move apart and separate your thumbs. You will soon learn that this simple, basic position can rapidly become very uncomfortable. So the body, it turns out, quickly becomes uncomfortable in any position. Just try to lie in any position for a short time, and you will see for yourself that this is true. So it is possible with practice to overcome the feelings of pain and discomfort. Yeah, you can. It's hard, but it works, and you can do it. Since the body becomes painful in any position, it must be that something else overcomes the pain. So that something else is not part of the physical body. So that is the mind. Mind over body. Mind over matter. Literal. So, 2. When you start to see negative egotism slipping into your life, make an agreement with yourself not to say the word I for at least 2 weeks. During the time, keep a pad of paper with you, and anytime you say the word I, put a small mark on a dated page. At first, the page will be filled with marks, but as you go through the 2-week period, the number will lessen. So the effect of not saying the word I for a few weeks is quite astonishing. It tends very nicely to separate the idea of yourself from the mind-body unit. So, to improve and speed up the result, you might wish to give $1 or a quarter or a dime to your favorite charity for each of your breaks. That is, each time you say I, this exercise is a charitable version of Crowley's technique. So he would have you slash your arm with a razor blade every time you had a break. I find the method given quite satisfactory and much safer. I'm not cutting myself because I said I. So, alright. Where did I go? Oh, number 3. Do the tarot contemplation ritual twice a day. So once using the advanced technique and once using the original basic technique. So, very interesting. The ego literally overrides everything. It just wants to. Literally. So, alright, here's part 7. So I have always found amazing the large number of people who talk magic and the tiny amount of people who practice or live magic. So the vast majority of people I have met who claim to be magicians show little knowledge of any rituals other than simple variations on the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. There's a lot of people like that out there too, and it's sad. Don't get me wrong though, I cannot overstress the importance of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, but becoming proficient in magic is a precarious task, and the LVRP is rather tiny support. So, a little diagram here. Magical support or technique, compared to the LBRP. So, yeah, we got that going on. Alright. If I can... There we go. So, alright, if you are not proficient at the LBRP, the entire system can fall down around you. So that's why I have practiced and practiced and practiced this. This is why the LBRP is taught right at the beginning. In fact, other than initiation rituals, it was the only ritual given out to members of the Golden Dawn until they entered the Inner Order. This would take over 1 year of practice. So thus, if you start actual practice on a daily basis of other rituals such as the Middle Pillar ritual and the ritual which is to follow, you will be doing the practical work that so many people who call themselves magicians talk about. But so if you actually practice. Alright, so yeah, I do actually these rituals. So let me reaffirm to you now that the magical practice is not just self-delusion or mental masturbation. During the sexual stimulation, the chemistry of the body actually changes. Various hormones are released into the bloodstream which cause the obvious signs of sexual arousal. Drugs called endorphins are created by the body and released into the blood, and they arrive eventually at the brain. So, endorphins are similar to opiates and increase the pain threshold. As a result, bites and scratches, which at other times would be painful, become very pleasurable for some people. Okay. However, the changes due to sexual arousal are temporary. The practice of ritual magic will make longer-lasting changes. So these include longevity, youthfulness, increased IQ, and others. So, but unless you practice on a regular basis, nothing will happen. Magic is experimental, not mental. So, the purpose of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, among other things, is to clear your immediate area of physical and non-physical distractions. This is especially refers to what might be considered negative influences. So, everybody should be practicing the LBRP big time. So, however, when doing gray magic, it becomes important to clear your area not only of lower negative influences, but also to clear your area of positive or higher influences. So this is because when you want to get in contact with one aspect of divinity, you do not want anything, whether it be positive or negative, getting in the way. So perhaps at some time in your life you had someone have a romantic crush on you. They always wanted to be around you, they wanted to help you in every way possible, and want to touch you as much as possible. Ugh, I hate that. Their motivation is completely based on their idea of love. Yet they can quickly become a terrible annoyance, pain in the neck. Even though they come to you out of love and affection, two things which are undeniably very positive, they can get in the way of your efficient functioning at school, at work, in your personal and professional life. So, yeah. It may be fun for a short while, but soon it only gets in your way. So we try to break our admirer of his or her obsession and stop the interference in our life. Similarly, it is important to prevent even positive interferences into our magical work. We must clear our immediate area, the area wherein we will work our magic, not only of negative influences, but of positive ones. So, in short, we want to have an area for magical work that has been cleared of all influences. Makes sense? So, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram clears the area of negative influences. The banishing ritual of the hexagram clears the area of positive influences. Just as with the LBRP, the banishing ritual of the hexagram must be mastered. I need to do this. I really need to do that one. So although I thoroughly enjoyed the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, I have always considered it to be on the level of doing my laundry. It's very easy. It is very easy. So it's very simple. So it is important and must be done regularly or you get into trouble. I still do it on an average of twice a day. I feel good about doing it too, but I also think that a ritual done daily should have more. So yes, it's true. So when I first learned the BRH, I found that more I found that more. So while the evocation of the archangels in the LBRP is powerful, and it seems to be to me to always be increasing in power, the invocations and physical actions of the BRH are to me quite awe-inspiring. I never cease to get chills when I pause after commanding the divine light to descend, and when that section is repeated at the end of the ritual, it is almost overpowering. Ooh, at times I have wanted to cry over this ritual's magnificent, yet simple beauty. Okay, so much of the rituals of the Golden Dawn is filled with such beauty. So is there any more magnificence and beautiful way to adore the Lord of the universe and space than by the Golden Dawns? So here we are with this. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe. Holy art thou, whom nature hath not formed. Holy art thou, the vast and mighty one, Lord of the light and of the darkness. So, as I wrote when I introduced the LBRP, the area you are working in becomes a temple of the Godhead. So the LBRP is a preparation, a cleansing of that temple. So the BRH has aspects which are nothing less than simple, glorious, honest worship, along with its already mentioned banishing qualities. So, okay, that the banishing ritual of the hexagram makes a lot more sense now, so that's good. Alright, the banishing ritual of the hexagram. So, the preliminaries for this. So we have 1, perform the relaxation ritual, ball of energy going all the way up from your feet to your head, relaxing everything, and you just feel really great. 2, perform the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. 3, if you have any questions about the symbolism, reread part 3 of this lesson. Alright, section 1, the analysis of the key word. So, step 1, stand behind the altar if you have one, with your arms out to the side so that your body forms a cross. You should be facing east. If you have a ritual wand, you should use it in this ritual. It should be held in the right hand with its point up. Alright, now step 2. You are going to say this very meaningfully. I-N-R-I, Yud Nun Resh Yud, the sign of Osiris slain. So as you say the letters in Hebrew, the second line of the above verbalization, draw them from right to left in front of you. Use the tip of your wand or your index finger. The letters are formed from top to bottom. As you draw them, visualize them in bright blue flames, and they look like this. This is so there we have very tiny Hebrew letter. So, very difficult. That's not too difficult. Alright, so step 3, form the letter L by raising your right hand straight up from the shoulder. If you have a wand, it too should still be pointing up. This is similar to the position of the right arm of the Magician card in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. So, except the arm should be straight up. Your left hand should be straight out to the side, palm forward. Look at your left hand with your head slightly bowed. Say meaningfully, L, ... the sign of the morning of Isis. Now step 4, raise the arms to a position over your head so that they form an angle about 60 degrees. This makes the letter V. Venus. So, the palms should be facing one another. Tilt your head back and look up and say meaningfully, V, the sign of Typhon and Apophis. Now, step 5. Now you cross your arms on your chest, right over left. Your fingertips should be just touching your shoulders. This forms the letter X. Bow your head, say meaningfully X, the sign of Osiris risen. Now step 6. Now form each letter saying the name of each letter as you do so. So this is followed by the words they spell, which is pronounced to rhyme with the word boots. So it'd be like LVX, Lux. The sign of Osiris slain, sign of the morning of Isis, sign of Apophis and Typhon, and the sign of Osiris risen. These are the Luke's signs. So we have them all right here. Something I have got to really seriously get down. Alright, now step 7. At the word light in the following statement, spread your arms and look forward. Then recross the arms as before and bow your head while saying meaningfully the light of the cross. Now, step 8. Again, return to the first position, arms out to the sides, looking forward, and say meaningfully, Virgo, Isis, Mighty Mother, Scorpio, Apophis, Destroyer, Sol, Osiris, slain and risen. Okay. Now, we have step 9. Gradually raise your arms towards the V position. While slowly raising your head, as you do so, say meaningfully, Isis, Apophis, Osiris. Step 10. By the time your hands reach the V position, you should be looking up to the level of step 4 above. So you're going to vibrate I-A-O. So it's pronounced E-A-U. So E-A-U. Step 11. Take a few seconds to aspire to the light. Luke's. Then through visualization, draw it down over your head and down to your feet. When you can feel this beginning to happen, say meaningfully, let the divine light descend. So, now, you're going to feel it cover you and further purify you so that you become positive enough to exist without negative or positive influences around you. So, if you wish, you may relax in this state for a few minutes before continuing with the ritual. So now we will go on to step 2, the formulation of the hexagrams tomorrow. So the first part I think is very important, as he said, the letting the light, the divine light descend into you is repeated twice in this ritual, the banishing ritual of the hexagram. So tomorrow definitely we will be going over how to formulate the hexagrams, which it really actually gets kind of, it gets a little difficult, especially with the way the hexagrams are formed. It's just, I don't know. I find it very difficult for me to really focus on the hexagrams. I mean, there's so many. There's too many. But still, this is something that is definitely needed for all of this. So, alright guys. So we will finish tomorrow with the formulation of the hexagrams. So, alright. That was just the beginning one. Now let's see. So this is part 7. Yes, part 7. I don't want to leave anybody out or to confuse anybody. Alright, well, part 6 and 7, so. Alright, let me actually write this down so I don't forget. Because I will forget. Definitely I will forget. Alright, let's see. Lesson 4. Part. What did I say? Was it part 6 and 7? Yes, part 6 and 7. Alright, guys. So, very interesting stuff. Very good stuff. Alright, so I had to share with you guys a very cool experience. Yesterday I was gifted an egg from a witch's estate. Her name was Albina, I think. So she had hundreds and hundreds of haunted items. So this one is an egg. The energy is incredible. I mean, incredible. The color, everything. When holding it, literally, I mean, I could see her. I could see the woman that had this. I described what she looked like. I had no idea what she looked like. But I mean, it was just incredible. It was so incredible. The energy, the channeling. It was just like, it just came so quick. And the peace that came along with that. It felt like literally somebody was here with me. And then I woke up at 6 this morning, and I kind of thought of her, and describing her to my Virgo queen, my darling. So she sent that to me, and yeah, so tonight I will be evoking the djinn that's in it. So my ghoul djinn, I'm not going to say this name, but my ghoul djinn that you guys have seen, wanted to work with that one. So it's, I think it's a hermaphrodite. I did not know djinns could be hermaphrodites, which they can. And kaboom, it's wonderful. So tonight I will post a little evocation ritual with that djinn, and we'll see what comes up and what I channel from it. But it is seriously very incredible. The energy is just, it's just so loving and just awesome. But yeah, that's my first actual haunted item from a witch's estate. So I am very, 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 very happy with it. I turn it that way, it looks like it's the face of a person. But when I look at it, it does not look like that. So it's just very gorgeous. Very gorgeous. All the different, the flowers, and it looks like a face again. But it's not. So there's a lot of power in this. So whoever that witch was, she had lots of knowledge, lots of years, and she kept rocking back and forth in her chair. In almost like she was very sickly looking, very poorly looking, but it was almost as if she was up higher, lifted up, maybe in an attic or something. An attic, maybe a balcony overlooking a body of water. So that is what I channeled from that. It was just coming just so quickly, I don't even remember half of what I said. So, alright guys. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated on the egg. So watch for that video that will pop up later tonight. And then this video obviously will pop up later tonight. So, alright guys, I love you all very much. Thank you all for watching. I love you all with all my heart. All the way from Venus. All the way back down. So, and I will see you all tomorrow. Everybody have a happy Father's Day. All the fathers and the mothers that have to play the role of the father fur babies. So, alright guys, I love you all. And everybody have a great weekend and be safe. So, thank you guys for watching.